We are duck hunting fanatics, knee deep in the duck blind. If it flies, it dies. Only duck hunting fanatics know what it feels like to see a brightly colored drake mallard cup its wings and soar towards your decoys. It's what we do, and it's what we love. Duck Hunting Fanatics, with boots on the ground, eyes in the skies reports. And we get it from professional duck guides all across the country. We interview them for their top tips and tricks from their years of experience from the duck hunting blind. This is Duck Hunting Fanatics, and this is Eric Wilkes.
Greetings, friends. Eric Wilkes here once again with Duck Hunting Fanatics, and we got a very special guest, Jim Curcuruto, with us today, and he's going to talk a little bit about his mission as Stewards of Conservation. But Jim, thanks for being here, man. We certainly do appreciate it.
Oh, I love it. I'm excited, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I understand you're a big duck hunter yourself.
I am, man. I don't know what it is, but they're in my head. And, we had a good season last year and already looking forward to early season September for goose. So it is something about being out there. I mean, I've hunted my whole life, different game, but waterfowl certainly is in my head right now.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think most of us guys hunt different game throughout the year, but there's definitely something different about duck hunting. It's a huge industry. It's I think largely just because it's fun, it's exciting, that the birds are moving, most guys hunt over dogs. So then you're watching the dogs work, and there's just a lot of action. It's not like some of the other big game animals you go hunt where, like whitetail deer hunting. I do a lot of that myself as well. And you gotta go sit in the tree, and you got to be patient, and you got to wait. And but I always enjoy, any kind of duck hunting, or even just upland game too is a lot of fun, just because of the action that goes with it. So once again, Jim, we certainly do appreciate you being here. You've started up a little nonprofit here called Stewards of Conservation. Why start a nonprofit? Why now?
I tell you, so Eric, I have had maybe 12, 13 years experience in the outdoor market. I've been very fortunate to work I worked for the National Shooting Sports Foundation, the NSSF, that was a trade association for the firearms industry, and they put on the SHOT Show. And what I did for them was conduct research for about 11 years on the consumer and on hunting participation and gun ownership. And I also did what was called the R3 for them: recruit new people, retain the ones we have, and reactivate the ones that have lapsed out. And, after 11 years of doing all that research, there was a couple holes that needed to be filled. So when the opportunity arose and I found myself looking for something to do, I started a nonprofit organization, Outdoor Stewards of Conservation Foundation, and we're just about a year old. It was May of 2021 when we officially got started. And, our mission is to use research-based communications and engagement programs to help recruit that next generation of hunters, anglers, and target shooters, or what we call HATs. And we want to promote the fact that those HATs are primary funders and stewards of land, fish, and wildlife conservation in America. Just because, like I said, there's a hole out there. We don't get credit for being the funders of conservation. We don't get credit for being stewards of conservation. So that's what we're going to be doing here at Outdoor Stewards of Conservation.
Well, that's very, very, very interesting, and I'm intrigued. Is partially why we said, hey, let's jump on together and let's do a podcast and just educate some of our followers about what you've got going on. What honestly, outside of what you've got going on, what programs do you have that you honestly feel passionate about?
And that's exactly it, Eric. I mean, Outdoor Stewards, or OSCF, is a passion project. There's two things that really kind of bothered me personally. One was, again, not getting credit for being a steward and a funder of conservation. Through all the research that I've conducted over the years, millions of dollars of research, and we know that there's 60 million active HATs, right? Hunters, anglers, target shooters in America. They spend 1.2 billion days outside every year hunting, fishing, or shooting. And like 92% of them have told us that they've taken other people's trash out of the woods and waters, right? We're not the litter bugs, we're the stewards, we're the conservationists, but we don't get credit for it. And we are definitely the funders of conservation. Hunting license sales, fishing license sales, coupled with excise tax dollars on guns, ammo, archery equipment, boating. That is equates to like $3.5 billion a year. And that makes up about 70% of some state wildlife agency budgets. So again, the programs that we developed off that research are twofold. One, the best way, the easiest way to recruit that next generation of hats, it all boils down to two words, and that is come with. If you ask somebody to come with you fishing or come with you hunting or come with you to the range, you're going to get so many people that say, yeah, I've been waiting for somebody to ask me to come with them. So we're going to be working with our partner organizations, manufacturers, state agencies to reach out to those 60 million active hats and say, hey, don't forget to invite somebody to come with you. So that's our, our recruitment program. But the thing that I'm most excited about is our conservation engagement program. There's never been a national conservation engagement program that activates the 60 million hats. We call them the Orange Army for the hunters and the Blue Wave for the anglers out there. And we've always tried to figure out how we can get them, what are they all interested in, right? The number one cause that hats are interested in is conservation, nature, and sustainability. Again, they clean up the environment. So what we're doing at Outdoor Stewards of Conservation is providing biodegradable bags to hats all across America. And those bags are pre-printed with instructions that say, when you're out in the field, hunting, fishing, or shooting, and you come across some trash, stop and take it with you. And we know that you're already doing that, but get credit for it. And the best way to get credit is what you're already doing, right? Social media. You take a picture of your trout, you take a picture of your turkey, you take a picture of your waterfowl, but take a picture of your trash and hashtag trophytrash, put it on your Facebook and your social media accounts, and get credit for being that steward of conservation.
I like that, man. Trophy trash, hashtag trophy trash. That's a pretty cool concept. And, I think most guys that that at least that were, have grown up in the outdoors, right? Meaning it's been passed to one generation to another. At least in my upbringing, it's always been, anytime we would go camping, hunting, fishing, any of that stuff, it was always leave it in a better way than you found it. Right. And what that really means is, like, when you come in, it's just that it's picking up the trash. It's just tidying up things. Maybe there's like some, a pile of leaves or a pile of sticks or something that you can move out of the way to clear a path, just anything to better improve the place, the outdoors, the location that you're at. And I think it's very, and you're right. I think it's a very, undervalued appreciation that people who are on the opposing side of this, right? So people who oppose the outdoors, the hunting, the fishing, the target shooting, people that even oppose guns. Here's a good question for you. What would you say to one of those individuals about what we do to just encourage them to take another look and maybe give a different perspective on how they could understand our industry and what it would mean to introduce them to our industry?
Yeah, tell you what, Eric, the NRA just put out a book, How to Talk About Hunting, right? And one of the things in there is to find common ground. And we already know what that common ground is. We all like clean water. We all like a clean environment. So the general population, antis, whatever you want to call them, they want a clean environment. And they don't know that we are the stewards of conservation, we're the funders of conservation. So we want to tell those folks, hey, here we are, we're outdoors all the time, 1.2 billion days of field. We're deeper in the woods and waters than anybody else. And, we're coming across mylar balloons that maybe an anti-released for, their wedding 5 years ago, or a birthday party or a baby or something like that. We're taking that out of the environment, keeping it clean. And that's the best way to get started with anybody that you might have a differing opinion on. We were talking a little bit earlier about getting people, to come with you, that new person, right? The best way to do that is to ask them to come with you, and to tie in that food aspect, right? Adults that have never been hunting, if you shared game meat with them, venison or mallards, I mean, I tell you, they love the food aspect of it, and they love the aspect of working, seeing the dog work, bringing, retrieving an animal or pointing to a pheasant. So there's a lot of easy ways to, find that common ground.
Awesome. Yeah. And I totally agree. It really is. It's just common ground. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We may not agree with one another. And the cool part is we don't have to, but we all have similar common ground and similar ideas of what our environment should be and what our environment should look like. And to your point, I think it's if we could just educate people about exactly what your mission is, being a steward of conservation. And, not a lot of us don't really look for that credit. We embrace it, but I think if we can just spread the word, I mean, you're in a place where you're starting to create or attempting to create a social movement, trophy trash. I love that hashtag, and I love the idea of the biodegradable trash bags. And again, just educating people, and then encouraging each other and future generations to, like my childhood and my parents always told me, leave it better than you found it. And if everybody just pitches in just a little bit, man, it goes a long way, and that helps protect our wildlife. And then for the hats that are out there, right, the hunters and anglers and shooters, it makes the wildlife flourish even more. And I think a lot of people underestimate the impact that trash has on wildlife. We know it impacts them. We know that, they could swallow one of those mylar balloons, bite it and swallow a piece of it and choke on it, get sick from different things. We see as it pertains to ducks and birds, migratory birds, we see things like oil spills in some of the oceans and how that impacts the wildlife. And so I think anything in terms of trash that we can do and help improve our environment, you're in a really cool movement. And I really genuinely appreciate you being here today. I appreciate you sharing your mission with us. If there's one thing or one piece of encouragement that you could give anybody that's, maybe we're all stewards of conservation, but maybe they're hesitant to jump on social media and take a picture of themselves picking up trash, what would you say one thing to encourage them to partake in your trophy trash movement?
Well, I tell you, if you're not advocating for yourself, we already don't get credit for being funders and stewards, right? It's just going to get worse if the 60 million hats don't get vocal. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's happening on the other side. They're really good at the messages that they're creating and putting hunters, anglers, target shooters in a negative light. And it's time to fight back. I mean, it's time to, work with your local clubs, your hunting clubs, and have those messages ready. So when legislation comes up, whether, local, federal, or state, you can have a message. And again, if you're going to stay quiet, the future of hunting and target shooting is going to be very, very bleak if we don't start participating in some of these anti-efforts that are happening out there, for sure. And I tell you, a good way to do that is put yourself in a positive light and get on board with some of the programs that are out there, not only with Outdoor Stewards, but other organizations are doing it. It's great what State Department of Natural Resources are doing. I don't know if you're, I think you're in Alabama. Is that right? Are you down there in Alabama?
I'm actually located in Wisconsin,
Oh,
so
Wisconsin. Yep.
I'm way up north, and yeah, so like you, I'm looking forward to that early duck season coming in.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw on Duck Hunting Fanatics. I thought it was based in Alabama, but yeah, every state DNR does a tremendous job. Clean, having healthy habitats. Again, they don't get credit, so work with them, and you can have your local chapter of your gun club or something. Work with them and get some efforts out there, because the more that we show ourselves in a positive light, that we're out there actually cleaning up the environment, because the other side doesn't know that, the better off we're going to be, especially duck hunting too, man. I tell you, when I'm out in one of those coves or something, where's all the trash end up getting washed? It's in those coves. So I always bring a bag with me. I've been doing it for years. You've been doing it for years. Other duck hunters been doing it for years, but it's time to just get credit for doing it.
Yeah, and that's awesome, man. Well, just in closing here, because I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and our viewers that are and listeners that are listening to this podcast. Jim, how do people get involved with you? Because we have your website here up on the screen for those of you that are maybe watching this at stewardsofconservation.org. Again, that's stewardsofconservation.org. But Jim, if people wanted to get involved with you, what's the best way to get involved?
Yeah, follow us on social channels, the Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at Outdoor Stewards, and the stewardsofconservation.org is where you can go and click on the fill a bag program, and that'll you can request a free biodegradable bag. And we've got some great partners: Federal Ammunition, Fiocchi Ammunition, Tennessee Department of Natural Resources. They're all getting involved. And yeah, you can see here on the screen that anybody can take a piece or two of trash out with them. We've got some cool stats that we want you to share about, hunters are consuming all millions of pounds of meat, and all sorts of great information that you can share and help us out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Jim, thanks so much again for being here, my friend. We certainly do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be on the show. And I know you've got a lot going on, and you've got a brand new website that's coming here very shortly. So for those of you that are watching this, if you go here, this is going to change very soon. Jim informed me he's getting a whole new website, so be on the lookout for that. And as this program gets some life under it and continues to go and grow, because I think it will. I know it will, just based on what you're doing and your mission. We will definitely keep our followers and our friends at Duck Hunting Fanatics informed and let them know kind of what's going on. And we'll encourage you guys to go out and register the bags. So this is pretty cool. I had no idea the bags were like this color, so they definitely stand out. And this screams, I'm making a difference. And so I think it's really important for those of you that are listening, if you can, again, just leave it better than the way you found it. We encourage you to pick up your trash and get involved with this. It's a really cool program, a really cool concept, and we really want to see guys do better and get rewarded for it, get the recognition for it, because we all kind of deserve that at times, because a lot of times we do go underappreciated. So social media is a great way to help influence that and help get that out there and help spread the word about Outdoor Stewards of Conservation. So Jim, once again, one last time, thanks so much for being here, my friend. We definitely appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it, Eric. Appreciate everything you do. I know you're asking people to come with you, so keep up the great work, and look forward to speaking with you soon.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks so much, Duck Hunting Fanatics. We'll see you on the next episode. Everybody have a great rest of your week.
We are Duck Hunting Fanatics, knee deep in the duck blind. If it flies, it dies.